we small talk each other. Turn the beat up, turn it real loud. Turn the beat up, turn it real loud. Hold me to my word this time. I'ma take another ride. Go me on my business side. Go me on my cell at night. Take it to the limit, babe. Don't ask me, take a minute. No one gets tired. What was it worth? What was it worth? What was it worth? You give me all of me. Not gonna be down.
What's up, guys? Was playing around with a couple things here. Was having some issues with the screen share. I'm not really sure what's going on over here. So give me 1 second, guys, so I can get this thing figured out. Like, it's just like not updating the screen. Let's see. Oh no, okay, I think we're good. All right. So, what's up, guys? Gonna work on this little overlay thing. Actually, gonna make it a little smaller. It's a little too big at the bottom. But yeah, you guys will see a whole bunch of resources scanning through there. But yeah, it's a little too chunky. All right, first and foremost, what's up, everybody? How we doing? Hope we're having a great morning. You guys, hope you got some fresh air, did some breathing, maybe you journal a little bit, got yourself right, your emotions right. You just hope you're feeling good more than anything, right? Let's dive into the market. Let's see what we got. What we got going on today. So, first and foremost, I want to actually take a step back here with the market and walk us through a couple different things. So, as we look at where we're at in general, we're almost at this deep retracement from October 17th where we played out of this gap. So NASDAQ's almost getting to this point here. I really like these zones. I think we could see some great reversals out of either NASDAQ here. And I want you to look at this specifically because we do have a nice retracement over here. So you got deep pullbacks over here. Looking at already tapped into the 886. So this is borderline approaching a massive reversal zone, or we're looking at Dow Jones. Now Dow has been dropping super nicely. We've stayed out of buys, this whole time with Dow, just considering the way it's been moving. So we've been completely just ignoring any sort of smart money setups because I was just making sure my audio was on. It's been a while since I've done it, but the mic keeps going, and then all of a sudden the chat's going crazy because, what's he doing? All right, cool. So, buenos dias. What's up, Alfredo? We got Caius. What's up, man? Friso. Buenas. Ismael. ¿Qué tal, César? Buenos dias, Edgar. What's up, Harshi? Patrick. Hey, everyone. I hear Cloudflare is having issues. Yeah, so you'll notice things like Forex Factory. Forex Factory wasn't playing out. What's up, Damio? What's up, Seth? Vaughn, Joe, Brandon in here. Jesus, ¿qué tal? Already work out? Yep. Water, you already know. A little coffee. I think coffee is probably loading. Nancy's always clutch there. What's up? What's up, Brandon? I saw that it was just as that we didn't get a breakage structure. Oil just had a beautiful liquidity sweep. We can take a look at it. Yeah, TradingView isn't on Cloudflare. That's always nice. Yeah, it's been having issues. It hasn't. Haven't we seen this happen a few times now in this last month or two? But anyways, so looking at where we can be here with New York Open in the next 10 minutes. At some point during the day, I feel like today is the day that we end up trading down here and getting a reversal. Now, when you're looking at this drop was again from October 17th, Friday during London session. We see NQ also approaching the exact same zone. However, it's already retraced more aggressively. And then S&P is somewhere in between both Dow and NQ. So here is just the higher time frame perspective before we can make some decisions today. All right. So right now we're seeing S&P at 786. We're seeing NQ below that, and then you're seeing Dow Jones slightly above 786. So Dow on the higher time frame, we're almost getting there, right? Almost getting there. So at the moment, it looks like Dow's going to be the buy for the day. But if we can get all the way down there, now the question becomes, is there another opportunity? Could we have a opportunity to sell into that lower zone? So kind of like yesterday, we had some buy scenarios, some sell scenarios, and we end up getting a nice little sell-off for Dow. So, which was like that shakeout that we got like right around here before this thing just bled away. So let me know in the chat, what do you guys think? Are you looking for shorts? Do you see anything in a zone somewhere here nearby? Are you just going to wait for the longs? Where are you guys at here? What's up, Vaughn? I'm off 8 shots of espresso. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to go great. No chance that does anything to your nervous system when you're making decisions right now. Cause, fundamentals, effecto. So you're saying you're not going to trade because of fundamentals? Looking to sell NQ at 25.017. Okay. So yeah, let's take a look at it. Right now, it looks like if we look back to yesterday's price action, we played out of the zone. There was a higher zone over here, but I'm not too interested in that. And honestly, we end up making basically equal highs over here. So I don't know if we're going to get all the way up to here already. I think it'll take a little bit longer. So let's look at the 5-minute and see, do we have any clean setups that happened during Asian session, London session, or maybe even just New York? And an interesting area that I see right now is when we find support down here. So you look at Dow. Dow creates some support right here. So this is creating liquidity in this area. And we see it spike up one last time before everything drops. So take a look at this here. Right over here. This area, I mean, we'd have to come up a significant amount. We'd have to rise about 700 points just to get over here. That'd be quite a move. But that is the last time the market pushes higher. We don't have a massive liquidity spike or anything before it drops, but it is an interesting zone here during yesterday's New York session. Now we have Asian session highs right here. We can use our nice little session high and low marker. So we have Tokyo highs here, London highs here. And with the London highs, we do get a nice clean move to the upside before it drops. So considering we are, just a couple minutes away from New York Open, I do think we could get a little something in this area. Especially now that we've been trading below the previous low for the last 2.5 hours or so. So Dow could give us a shorting opportunity over here. So that's something we can see trading out of the London highs. From here, now let's look at an alternate suggestion. Would be, well, what if we look at NQ? NQ, on the other hand, has been holding up pretty well. So we could see that we have basically liquidity here with where we have these Tokyo lows. So retail is buying in here. There's definitely stops below this, and that aligns with our higher time frame, which would be this 4-hour zone over here. So if we wanted to look for an entry reverse around here, it is possible. We'll kind of just have to see how Dow moves today, which one of these are going to be the most bearish going into the session. But so let's take a look at this, right? London doesn't really move the same way that NQ does. London isn't moving in the same way with NASDAQ as it did with Dow. As you can see, Asian session highs, basically liquidity up here as well. So looks like the Asian session just created liquidity up to on the upside and on the downside. From here, even London session is not great in terms of any real like decisional candles. All of this is just consolidation, range, etc. So I'm not necessarily looking for any new opportunities. We're in a bearish structure, so selling makes more sense to kick off with momentum. And to go back to what I talked about with yesterday's move, I do see a nice sweep up here before it drops. And then you even have here a massive move to the upside before everything just crashes. So there's kind of two areas here that are pretty quality for shorts. One would be taking out these Tokyo highs and then dropping. And this could align with a higher time frame. There's a bit of an imbalance in here. So let's say the market gets to this level. I'm okay with taking a short here, especially if it's like the slowest one to work its way up to this price. I'm down. Otherwise, I like, and this was a good, up here, this was a sell that Armando and I were talking about. I didn't love the lack of demand over here, so I didn't take this position. But with the liquidity here, I understood that it could reverse. Wasn't my trade to take. He did take it, and obviously it played out. But right now, and yesterday we had the mitigation out of this zone too that we were looking for. It didn't trigger me in, so and then it mitigated. So this was just nothing really to do there. So I see potential shorts here. I also see a opportunity for sells in this range over here. So it's a pretty massive move, this whole thing. So I definitely understand both sides to this. If we do get above this range here, then I'll probably look to take a sell around here, 25,120. So there's kind of two zones that I'm looking for. Can we short and then go long? Ideally, that would be best case scenario for sure. Thanks, babe. ¿Cuántos trades sueles hacer en una semana, Mago? Depende. A veces son... Depende de la semana. Por ejemplo, ahora mismo llevo... Here, I'll tell you how many trades I've taken this month so far. I've taken... I have 32 setups and 26 have triggered. Entonces he tenido 32 oportunidades, pero solo 26 se me activaron en 18 días. Okay, so New York Open, we're seeing the momentum. I'm going to set alerts kind of across London highs, Tokyo highs, and then see if we get into this area. So I kind of want to just play out a price action right now. I'm pretty open to what we got going on here. So to kick things off, Dow over here went straight down. So kick things off pretty bearish. That's cool. And then the zone like we talked about, which is significantly higher, is way up here. So I'm going to stretch this out just for the day here. See what we get. So, yeah. Dow pushing downwards. S&P also. NQ, same. Okay. Now, let's say we have on the 1 minute here. Over here. Oh, my bad. Here's where I could see some people maybe wanting to take a position. We had a nice sweep below here. Takes out some of this. You have a little order block right there, and the market may rally from here. So I could see why someone would want to play out of this range. However, this right here during London about not too long ago, this already cleared, this mitigated this zone. So I feel like we already closed out the sell and rebalanced here. So I'm not pushing. I don't need to be in the market. It looks okay. Like, oh, maybe we get a reversal out of here. But it's just not a awesome setup. So I could understand this trade totally. But this already happened in my opinion. I think this was already done. So I wouldn't take another position here. All right, so now we clear some of this liquidity from the last hour or so. The market's starting to push, at least with NQ. Okay. And then let's see what S&P is doing. Dow, down. Dow pulled, cleared lows really nicely. Traded into this area. Okay. Short term, that's fine. We still got more to run here, so I'm not convinced we're done dropping. Overall, we've gotten too close to this level for this to just stop dropping and make a huge reversal. So let's get into. Here we go. Okay. So we saw a nice liquidity sweep on Dow. Here's the 1 minute. So you guys have a little bit more detail. I'm like overexposed. Can you drop my brightness? Never mind. So yeah, look at this huge push down. Okay. Now when we see a sweep like this doesn't automatically mean, hey, go and buy at this price. Like, that's not really the point. The point is to let the market confirm demand. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you, sir. But now look at what we've seen. Let's zoom out a little bit. The market is doing a couple things here. Traded up into near London session highs that we've seen. This, for me, is not an entry or anything like that. Look how fast this is crashing back down. Still, even though you had a push down, a massive bearish candle, that to me is not saying, hey, go buy right away. For my entries, what's up? Oh, thank you. For my entries over here, I need for price to give us and maintain these highs. So let's say we're going to look for buys. I need bullish demand. Otherwise, the intent, the context of this trade changes fully. Because if price goes up and comes crashing back down, then does the market really want to be bullish? Are we really in an uptrend? Or was this liquidating tons of retail sellers and then price actually wants to trade bearish? So look at the difference, right? NASDAQ crashing back down. Here's a scenario. Possibly we could see the market keep trading like this. This is kind of what Dow did yesterday. We had a nice setup on Dow yesterday. Then we could see a short somewhere in this range, and then, you know, take this lower. This is a possibility. London move missed entry. Okay. And she was lower that earlier this morning. Got you. Oh, man, take me out break even. Now it's a skyrocket. I got a pending buy at 40.50 on gold. Give me a bit to get to gold. I want to see the market settle with indices before we move on. So this is a possibility, but if this comes up right away, I'm not going to take anything either. All right. So if we come right back up, that's not going to be the case. Now here, let's take a look at Dow. Now Dow's is changing up a little bit. Dow here, we saw the big move down. So we definitely see a sweep below. So we saw a big move down here. Great. If the market can stay bullish, so this is, we get above our previous high and we maintain structure. So if we can hold something like this, then sure. Then we can look for a buy somewhere over here and then, you know, be good on this. So, but we would need something like this first. At least, again, this is how I trade, guys. Like, you guys can do whatever you want. That's just what I do. So, all right. Is anyone able to sign into Funding Ticks website? Something is working on my end. Is not working on your end, I'm assuming? Yeah, so there is issues right now with, what is it, Cloudflare right now? So I'm assuming Funding Ticks maybe is operating on Cloudflare. What is the indicator you use for session high and low? I have one, but there are no labels. I turned it on. I don't remember if the labels were on or not by default, but Seth put me onto this one. Farah trading sessions high and low. And then I think you have to go to the settings here and show session labels. All right, so let's see. Oh, ¿cómo funciona Tradetopia? Bro, it's like a lot of other futures prop firms. They're similar. It's you can do it a couple different ways. You can either pay for a challenge, and then if you pass it, you activate it. The prices are pretty much the same. The activation fee is a little bit cheaper than Top Step and most of them. Then you have a different account where you could pay more upfront but no activation fee. And then the third option is you can get instantly funded, so you don't do any challenges. You immediately get funded. However, it's like you need to hit certain targets to get a payout. So, for example, with the 150Ks, you get 6,000 drawdown, but you have to go hit 9K to start to get your first payout. And then you have to hit a certain consistency in order to do it. So, like for 9K, the max I can make in a day for the first payout is 1,800. And then after the first payout, that number goes up. And then after the third one, then it goes up again. And then it's pretty easy from there. So, but yeah, básicamente, bro, es como otros de fondeo, pero son con futuros, no son con CFDs. Y es más barato que los de CFDs. Y hay una cuenta en que puedes tener fondeo instantáneamente. Instant funding, guys, only do it if you know you're disciplined, you're not impulsive, emotional. Most traders overall probably shouldn't do the instant funded. I'd say there's a very small minority that, like, if you're journaling every day, you're tagging most of your trades, 85, 90% of your trades as disciplined trades, you don't have risk issues, then cool, do it. Yeah, it's like if you already believe in your skills, then you should do it. But if not, if you're still figuring it out, if you're still in the experimental phase, I'd stay away from it for now because it is a higher cost up front. Yeah, the payouts, the consistency keeps going up after every payout. So I like that. All right, cool. So Dow right now starting to create a bit more bullish demand. I want to see it crack above here though. So we'll stay tuned in on that. Let's go take a look again at NQ. So NASDAQ here. So we saw a nice liquidity sweep. The market came down. We then traded up right away, played out of this order block. So here you have a little order block. It didn't really hold structure long enough here. Like we didn't stay bearish and go, oh, okay, this was just a liquidity sweep. So this is where I wanted the entry. So it would have been a nice entry. However, it happened too fast for me. For my liking, to establish what direction we're going in, I prefer us to get more price action. So here, yeah, it's just not my setup. Close, but not quite. And we don't chase around here, so it's all good. Okay. Now, with that being said, there's a couple key things. I'll get into stocks in a little bit later. Greg, I don't know if you're on right now, but I saw your post here asking about Webull. So I saw you say something here. Now with stocks, guys, right now, I'm open to holding my positions. I'm down like 30-something% on Webull right now, I think. Yeah, just about. A little more maybe. But because of where we're at with indices overall, and we're getting to these higher time frame reversal areas, I'm okay with holding a bit longer. Like I'm totally okay with that. So I'm not too much in a panic because we are in potential reversal zones. And look at that. This played right out of these order blocks right here. And then came right back up. All right. And then look at Dow here. So Dow moving sideways a bit more. Okay. Here's where we have the last drop. This is where the drop I really want is here. But I want bullish structure first. Okay, so we'll get back into this. We'll check this out in a bit. You guys are talking about oil, right? What's our take on oil here? All right, someone was talking about oil? Yeah, and Webull has earnings later this week. Exactly. I just bought more of everything before the live started. Sick. That is perfect. CLF. All right. Yeah, I was actually gonna ask if we had a contract shift yet. Beautiful. Okay. So tons of liquidity building up over here. Lots of retail money over here. More of the same over here. Yeah, I think I'm staying out of oil for the time being. It's like nothing screaming at me like, hey, let's take a position here. Here's a liquidity sweep. Let's play this or that. Too choppy. Not my favorite. Yeah, I'm chilling on this. All right, we can move on from that. All right, YM. Where are we at? Okay, so now, here we go. Dow picking up some steam. Possibly establishing bullish structure here. Now that it's above, we might see that. Let's see, did indices bounce here? NQ2? Okay, so NQ now, decided to bounce out of this last drop. Great. This isn't a trade I take because of NQ was already more bearish. So looking to buy what's more bearish from the indices overall, to me, is just not it. So yeah, give it some time. Coming down right away. Okay. So right now, if I'm comparing indices, I would want sells with NASDAQ. And Q is kind of having a harder time coming and working its way up. So I would want to sell NQ if we can get some sort of opportunity here. Right now we cleared these highs. We worked our way back down. We even saw it, work its way down here. Yeah, I mean, it was moving sideways for a little bit, just a couple minutes before it tapped this order block again and dropped. So I would prefer entries higher away up here. But that's just my take. Everything's looking considerably bearish. So if I can't get in, I can't get in, whatever. And then, oh, look at that, Dow. All right. So look at how Dow attempts to, it breaks above. This is where typically we see retail activate their buy stops. Here's where we see sellers lose. So anyone that was selling last couple hours, maybe they had their stops, above these highs here. So, okay, cool. Lost some momentum there. So this is a nice liquidity sweep. See that right here? It clears out a nice amount of money. Now we're seeing Dow shift to the downside over here. So I'm no longer, this doesn't really feel valid unless we come back up and we trade up here longer, but it's looking less likely. What now could be setting up is a short. So let's say we establish some good structure here. We might be looking for a sell out of this range and then see this go lower. So I'm no longer, more than likely this is not going to be a play. It looks like we lost momentum very quickly. So básicamente, chicos, como falló cuando el impulso sube aquí y esto falla, no nos confirma la compra. Queremos estructura y demanda alcista y no se está dando. So, all right, I'm going to delete that. So if you notice, it's not about taking every possible trade. For me, it's about disqualifying setups. Things are going to look okay. Things are going to look decent. It's about disqualifying them. That's the only way that you end up taking just quality setups over and over and over again. I just caught that Dow sell on my own data. Sweet. Well done. Did you trade it like out of here somewhere? Maybe your stop was over there. Fill the gap. Stop up here. Nice little drop. I like it. It looks decent. Well done. So look, now we're getting this. Beautiful. Yeah, we might be in the market for a nice short. Dow is picking up a bit more bearish. It's not as low as we're seeing NQ and S&P, but it's the current price action is holding up very nicely. So look at how this is a 1 minute candle. This is still very bearish, basically almost full, while NASDAQ is already eating this up pretty quickly. So let's do this. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, Brandon. So let's go take a look at what this trade would be like. So let's say we took a position here. Okay, give me a second, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm not loaded in. Maybe over here. Okay, here. This has got to be on this screen. All right. So, yeah, like this is nice and bearish. And then NQ. NQ is now in this 4-hour zone. So take a look at this. NASDAQ dropping first right into this area. Nice little pocket. Beautiful. I'm not going to buy NASDAQ. Why? Well, since y'all asked, we have Dow that has the same zone further down. So I actually want to ride YM or NQ, depends on kind of how the setup happens. But I would want to keep pushing this lower, because if Dow has more, it can go downwards, then we might be able to ride the momentum down to that level, that higher time frame level that we're looking for. So let's say I was looking for a position here with Dow, then I would be looking at something like this. So like right in this order block where we've seen resistance, like right around here, I'd like a setup here. And then this would be a nice little sell limit, a stop loss. Right over here. And TP way further down. Where's the zone? Oh, I don't have it marked up over here. It's 45,890. So something like this could be nice. And then we could be looking at, it'd be a pretty huge trade. Risk 500 to make like 3 grand. Multiplied across all the accounts. That's a nice trade. However, before we make any decisions like that, how many contracts was that? 14. I want to just take a look at the entire spectrum. So look, Dow is dropping, but nowhere near as aggressively as NASDAQ. So let's look at price action. Price has made a huge move up. So you have a massive pump to the upside here. This here single-handedly clears out a decent amount of liquidity. So this trades up to about basically 3.5 hours worth of retail sellers. The market then crashes. On the way down, we see very efficient, healthy price action up and down and up and down and up and down. Up until this is kind of the last move to the upside that we see. So here's the last big candle. Nice amount of orders are in here. before the market then starts to push lower. So here's how I would trade this. And it's going to be really dependent on how price action moves up across the board, Dow and or NQ. But I'm open to shorting either NASDAQ over here, like clearing this candle somewhere over here where we've seen, you can zoom out. You've seen a lot of support in the past over here. So I think I'd like to take a shot at a sell like right over here. Right around 24,700. And it would be shorting this because yes, we have a huge candle here, but this is all pretty efficient already. What would you have to happen for you to consider NAS for buy since it was not the lagger? I mean, nothing. Like at this point, I wouldn't take it. If Dow is showing us that it can drop way further down, if for example Dow has another 280 points, it can drop. So that it could be a massive influence towards NASDAQ. Like if they're all working in unison right now. They're not really against, like everything is in a good momentum together. So that's what I would be targeting. So look here, Dow, right? This pump with, whoa. Here is that, the move that clears out the highs is this one. This one happens at 8:45 here Central Time. So you see it take out the highs right there. It's this one. The same time you have NQ where it clears these highs and then everything drops. So that's like the same momentum, the same volume. Orders go in there. So this is really the important move. Dow's already got, well, I think stuck to the bottom. Dow's already picking up to the upside again pretty quickly while NQ is holding it down. So I'm liking NQ for the sell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up here. So this is not going to be the case. And now looking at, trading right around here. So then here, if we wanted to do a nice little sell limit, if you want to get really aggressive, your stop would be here, just literally at this high. This was that nice pump up before it all dropped. Not necessarily something, it doesn't need to be, that doesn't need to be your stop. It could definitely be higher. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. So if we're looking at, or this is trading stop loss wise, I think having the stop, giving a bit more space makes sense. This is the most conservative stop here, which would be the market just, respecting structure. This overall is a massive move as well. If you wanted to just play this specific candle and then you wanted to approach the bigger one later, cool. So like one way you could do it would be you're shorting this move particularly. So this is kind of what the trade would look like, because it's like here was the buy for the sell. But if you're considering this big move, then the stop makes more sense up here. So it kind of depends on what exactly it is that you're going to look to short, what orders. So if these are big buy orders, then you think they're going to get a sell out of this, then you would take something like that. If you think, it would go higher, then you have a different type of trade that you take and your stop would be over here. So this is definitely a more narrow window to trade from, for sure. And so For clarity, you guys are seeing kind of the order for one account, but this one gets copy traded through. You're trading Jur 30. Cool. What are you? Are you gonna buy? Are you gonna sell? What are you trading right now? And look at that. Dow is just holding up. Wow. S&P about to get to that 4-hour low. The 4-hour mitigation. It's getting pretty close. All right. Jur 30, huh? Or Jur 40 now. My bad. I haven't gotten used to it. What's like the official Jur 40 here? What do you guys look at? What do you guys look? We'll look at Pepperstones. You are in a what? DAX? All right, S&P just got to well, here's a CFDs chart. I wouldn't buy this. Nah, I wouldn't really do anything. You already got a reaction at it here like 8 hours ago out of this zone. So if you're looking at the daily time frame here, no, I wouldn't really touch this. Yeah, I think this will probably break below briefly and then reverse. If you were looking at this here, dating back to like this zone, you already got the reversal once, so it wouldn't really, the money already came in once, so I wouldn't do this again or anything. All right, so NQ still pushing downwards. I believe we're going to get a break below this low and get deeper into the gap over here. And because now we're breaking this like massive wick down, and I think this one will be brief. So whenever we get massive like daily time frame, weekly time frame reversals across indices, usually one or two of the indices break below the daily or weekly low temporarily, and one of them stays within it. In this case, I think we're going to see NASDAQ break below this wick, trade where we've seen levels of support and resistance in the past. So I think we'll get probably towards maybe 24,300. So like this area here. I feel like we'll probably get somewhere over here. And then that would bring Dow to the setup. Yeah, this thing's bleeding out. Would have been nice to have that shakeout trade, right? But it was just so fast. Didn't want to give us the signature setup. All right, there we go. Here comes Dow. All right. All right, so at this point, I think I'm just going to... Cool, if we end up pulling back up again, maybe we get into shorts. But it kind of seems like the shorts are just going to happen without me today. And that's cool. That's okay. The buy setup is over here. So let me show you exactly why I'm looking for a buy. I know I have it highlighted there, but let me give you a bit more context here. All right, so we see a nice little sweep, right? Nice little push. And here is where you want to get the detail. Here's where you want to see some more. Check out gold buys. I looked at it earlier. Is it urgent? Let me know if it's like, yo, it's getting there right now. So here is the last sweep down. So right there. London session starts. Big push down. Market reverses. This is the big takeaway there. So when we're in this, where in this zone do we look for buys? I see a little bit of an imbalance in here, but we also did trade out of the structure already. So honestly, I like the like 24 or 45,000, like 810 ish, 815. We've seen it reverse out of this area a couple times too. As we go back in the past, we've seen levels around there as well be respected. So here's where we've seen it open. Here's where we've seen rejections before. So yeah, right around here, 24, 8, like 10, 815. It is a bigger stop, right? Obviously, it's a couple hundred points for a stop, which is a lot. But you're also potentially catching a massive, like, okay, it's 200 points for a stop, but making 600 is not out of the question. The market today has already dropped just in New York session, right? You've already seen this thing go down. What, like 500 points? 400 points? All right. That was some reversal right now. Nice little reversal energy. And Q, respecting the zone. Starting to get a good reversal here. S&P got to the zone. Starting to get a good reversal as well. Wonder if it plays out. So S&P playing out nicely from here. We're rejecting. And Q, deep pullback. Look at this. Actually played out of where we've seen previous levels of support before. Extreme pullbacks here. My plan is not to take the leading bear. So if something, for example, out of these asset classes, if NASDAQ is bleeding out, I'm not going to take it first. If this is the one that's dropping the most aggressively, my plan and my data shows that it typically breaks the structure. So if I would have had my stop here, these kinds of setups, especially if it's happening first, this is the one that, would get stopped out most often. That's why I'm waiting out for Dow to work its way there. And if it does play out, cool. One of the things that's helped me the most is just remembering, like, dude, you have so many opportunities. Like, the one that's in front of you is not the most important one. It's not the last setup you're ever going to see. So the more often you can let go of, like, this has to be the trade, the better. All right, right now, kind of just broke some of this trend line before it starts to drop again. So you were looking at gold buys, right? And I saw this a little earlier. I wonder if you're looking at the same thing I saw too. So gold actually took a buy right here and then ended up going break even. Yeah, because we cleared out a whole bunch of liquidity, came right back in. Good structure. Then we dropped in. So once we had this reversal, it was a good one. It was like, I think I was up like 150 pips or more. And then it came back down. But anyways, with that being said, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Now, here is the key. We do trade above this high. And we got above here for about an hour and 10 minutes. But now we're very quickly working our way back down. If I am going to take a buy position here, I want the market to prove that there's buyers, there's demand here. I want this to be here longer. That gives me a high probability A+ setup. And I'm cool. Like, I'm patient with these to get this A+ setup because I don't just trade one asset class. So it's not like I have a very limited amount of setups. It's not like, oh, I'm only going to get 10 setups. Only 10 are going to show up the whole month. Not the case, right? I'm going to get probably 40, 50 good setups, like solid setups. Some of them are going to happen outside of my trading hours. Cool. Like that's happened actually a lot. I think it's like there's been 5 London session setups that all won that I just couldn't be in, but that's fine. The luxury we have is an abundance of choice and opportunity. So don't need to rush it. But I am open to, catching a trade here if we get a bit more confirmation from this. So that's gold. Meanwhile, I think silver is similar. So here we have silver. Silver here, lower high, went lower, lower, lower. We just cleared that liquidity, came back in, traded even higher. So we want more confirmation. But again, this looks very nice. The market could reverse out of here and give us a nice setup, especially if we zoom out. Do we have higher time frame confirmation? Traded out of this order block right there. There's more of an imbalance, so more than likely this is probably going to want to go down anyways. This was a buy that we were looking for. You guys remember this one? This one missed us by a little bit, and then it hit our whole target. I think I posted this one. I was like, I want entries under 46, and then exits after 52. Would have been nice. All right, let's go check in on indices. As quickly as it went up, came right back down. So the power of staying detached. Smooth. London do be cooking. Yeah. London especially, I've noticed like gold, man. Gold's been printing during London. Yeah, gold's been super nice during London. All right, what we got going on here? Okay, so metals-wise, we went over this a little bit. We have, let's see, majors. Silver the other week had, not silver, Swiss franc, massive liquidity sweep before it dropped. So this could be a setup. For some reason, I hadn't marked this up. But, yeah, massive pump here with Swiss franc way up to here. And then this thing is falling off. So, nice little move here. Could have a Swiss short. And then there's 2 areas for where you can take shorts here if you want to narrow down your position. Where you've seen resistance before, like right around the zone, and or this order block. So there's kind of like two zones. If I wanted to refine it, it would be somewhere in here. Then it comes down to your either the data that you have for this type of position, whether you prefer trading out of the last point of supply, where you've seen reversals prior to the liquidity sweep, or the order block that's like right here. So I would take my position to have maximum risk reward and still high probability opportunity. I would take it right there. So something like this. The downside is this more than likely is going to play out during London. Maybe London, New York overlap. So we shall see. But this is the idea. And then RR-wise, at least for now, I do see more of an imbalance and a push down right here. And then there's even more down there. But, yeah, so this is kind of the setup for now. So here is Swiss franc. All right, let me send this one out. I haven't gone through. What's up, Chile? What's good? Miguel. All right, so we have Swiss franc, right? So 6S Swiss. There's the chart. Let's get the image here loaded up. If you guys are not in the free community, at the bottom, that code will scan. It will pop up here in a little bit. That QR code. So, all right, today's trades. November 18, 2025. We're almost done with the year. Oh my God. What happened? Wild. Okay, so for shorts, this is going to be the focus. I'm going to just, if we do end up coming up here, I do like NQ shorts. Let's add that to the list. And then we have Dow. Dow for the long. Let's see here. Just trading it up to here still gives a 2.67 R. Obviously, I want lower entries for the sake of better risk reward. We could kind of play it by ear. We can just wait for price action. So, for example, if we see NASDAQ finally clear these lows, get into this imbalance, like do we want to wait for this to get all the way down to here? That could give us a better positioning with Dow. So there's a couple key areas. A good amount of reversals that we've seen in the past have been around here too. So 45,770 reversal there. So we've seen it here, here, a few times. So it's kind of like this range over here. So do you want to risk missing the setup from the low? Maybe you approach it with half risk, right? You take half of your position here, another half of the position down here. I'm okay with that, actually. I'm cool with that. Half here, half there. I take that. Okay. I'm gonna approach it this way because it's a 4-hour zone, so obviously there's a lot more can happen, and it could be a nice swing trade. Say 4,775. Just about that good old quarterly level. A little throwback. All right. And this would be the conservative exits. Would be playing up to here for the day. Playing right back into New York Open or London. This is signature. These are my signature setups. Catching the falling knife. That's kind of what I like to do. All right, so here's YM. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to leave this up for you guys here for a second. I'm going to be right back. All right, so be right back. All right. Let's see how many people I lost. I can you zoom into YM 1 minute price action with the buy zone? There's a refined 1 minute OB at 45,661. Sure. Oh, we lost. We did lose them. Rip. Lost like 20 people. Damn, y'all can't even wait 2 minutes. Well, as they say, right? Her loss. YM. All right, so you said NNQ buys. I like how these, you know, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. I don't want to ruin anyone's day. But what I was going to say is y'all be saying I'm in these plays once you're in profit. I'm just here to talk shit, all right? But only once you're up in profit. Where's my signal, guys? Where's my signal? Huh? I want to eat too. It's Tuesday. I want tacos too. All right. So refined entry, right? Let's see here. I'm just marking these up here as well. I'll take a look at that zone you were asking about, Harshi, in a second. Give me a bit. I want to be ready to strike, you know, if I got to. So here, I just want to show the setup. I want to be ready just in case we get there. So we're looking at momentum now. So here was the high and the low. We're at a 38.2 pullback. If you look at it on Dow, same setup. This is the timing of that move. So right now, it's about a 38.2 pullback. All right, 38.2 here. Whereas NQ's at about a 50%. So they're pretty similar. I'm going to have to go split screen on this one today. What is happening here? This is bugging. All right, so if you're looking at price action, as of right now, Dow would have a better shot at this trade. Yo, it's funny. Hey, I get it. No, I get it. All right, cool. So the second chart, it's nice. It's nice. It's a luxury more than a necessity. But look, NQ is already pulling up to this zone that we had over here. So as of this instant, Dow might be a better trade because of how it's a little bit slower on the way up. We'll see. Obviously, this can change. So this could start to pick up, and then this comes back down. So we'll see. Told you. Yeah, bro. It wasn't my setup. So I'm happy for you. And I don't know what you want me to say to you. You're right. Congratulations. It just wasn't my setup. It's a little bit, but it is a difference. It is a difference. That little bit is all of the difference. So if it's going to be MNQ, then it would be a over there. And then if it's going to be, why doesn't this change? How to exit this? Sorry, that's 5. And if I'm going to trade MYM, what was it going to be? I think this was the entry. All right, see, now Dow is definitely trading much lower. All right. So we wait. Okay, so back to, you were asking me about the buy zone, right, Harshi? And how if we went to, I think the 1 minute, there's a nice little something, little OB in here. What are you looking for in here? What do you like? Oh, I see. I got you, Manuel. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You're right. You're a real one. All right, this is what, 12 contracts? Is what I'm looking at here. All right. So here we have, this is 1 minute, trading out of the 1 minute here. This is from October 17th. This is how it works its way up. You see the market dip down to here before it rallied. Here's like a push down, continuation, and balance that we really don't ever come back down to. So yeah, we do have more effective, more efficient price, and it looks like it would be right around this 45,700. Yeah, this is basically the zone, 45,700. So would love an entry over here. So that second half trade, the other position, I would be open to doing it over here. Yeah, 45. I just say 45,700, including the spread or whatever. Is this kind of what you were talking about? All right, let's go real time now. C CAD futures, trying to get involved now. Okay. Yeah, what a snipe this would be. My, oh my. All right, Dow and NQ. Now, yeah, these are so close. These are so similar right now. Let's see what plays out. Okay. So what is CAD doing? Because this is a good timing for CAD futures. Oh, this is an old alert. My bad. My bad, y'all. So I wanted an entry up here before, but in my opinion, we already got the reversal here when the market came in. This looks like it closed the buy with this big sell-off. So I'm not going to look for another trade. Maybe it reverses, but it's all pretty efficient. So unless it just played out of this order block and this big move is going to reject somewhere up here. But, I mean, I'm not too concerned. We did have a few more setups that I wanted to take a look at. Some that I've shared. So Australian as well. Yesterday we took out this liquidity and then it reversed. I had an alert for this liquidity, but I just didn't really have an entry for it. So it did take it out, and then actually it gave the shakeout setup. Clears liquidity, rebalances, creates some demand up here, pulls back into the imbalance, and then off it goes. So not bad. All right. Now, a bigger focus here. For Australian is this. We have a nice sweep of these highs. Goes up to here. This is last Thursday. And then the market fully reverses. So I like this setup as well. So let's do this. Majors. All right, 6A. Play off of previous levels of resistance and this order block could play out nicely. From there, you got NZD. Not looking for anything with NZD. We did see a nice little sweep of liquidity, and then it rallied, but it dropped very quickly again. So I'm staying out of that. Euro trading similar to a lot of other majors. Had a big move up, has lost a lot of momentum in the last few days. Unlike the rest of a lot of these other majors that are coming up pretty fast, it's been a slow retracement up to here. So I like possible sells. I also like buys. Way down here. This would take a bit longer. But yeah, this is Euro. Again, like always, if the market's approaching areas of interest, I compare these to correlated assets. So if we're over here, but then the pound is way down here and it could still work its way up, then that's when these can typically break above the highs and the setup fails. So I that's a massive part of my approach to trading. Is it's not just every setup is valid. I have to look at how they're correlating. Otherwise, yeah, a lot of the trades end up getting disqualified because something else is moving at a slower pace. So, for example, here we already got this. So this is the idea. Shorts over here. Okay. 6J. So the majors are showing setups. There's setups for sure. It's just patience. Pound is squeezing a lot, so I'm not in. This is one of the setups that played out while I was asleep. This one we had marked up beforehand. So the sell might be the play still here. Especially with this moving sideways like this. Could just take out sellers and then go lower. Okay, 6B. That's it. Going back to metals real quick. Silver and gold. We wanted to understand, is there confirmation for structure? And at this point, I mean, silver's holding up pretty well. So is gold. So one or the other. Same approach, same type of setup. It's just patience. So in here, would be looking for something like this. And then maybe like to here at least for now. So that's silver. Intraday silver play. I'll here, let me just this or gold. And then I'm going to actually post this right now. I realize I haven't posted it yet. Same idea. All right. Gold. Okay, here's a giant post. And there you guys have it. You got 3, 5, 7, 9 potential setups. We're going to wait and see the best ones. All right. So again, if you want access to that, scan the QR there. That's how you're going to get it. Small 1 minute sweep. Cool. Yeah, hopefully that plays out, man. That'd be sick. That would be dope. So as of right now, nothing was traded during this session. We had the potential for a sell here, which we would have pinned the second lower high on NQ, but I just didn't get the demand enough to have the conviction for the short here. So we didn't get that. And then we saw Dow clear liquidity here. I know this is where Brandon took a nice short, got caught that nice little 3R. Like to see that. But this last move up, which captures liquidity, is also a big push up here before the market keeps dropping. So this is what I'm looking for an entry right now, is one of these, whether it's shorting NQ or shorting YM. This is the intraday. And then for the longs, we have the bigger picture ideas here as well. So let me go ahead and actually, I don't know if in here I have that. Okay, so let me just unauthorized. Un momento, por favor. Okay. All right, chat. If you guys have any other questions, ideas, whatever, this is the time before we wrap up the session here. About an hour 45 in. This is your moment. Trading psychology, Q&A, whatever your heart desires. Selling the... Okay, here we go. There you have it, folks. I would love to see here if you want some feedback or if you want some, some value, drop whatever, your personal markups. If you want to practice and go, hey, yeah, you drew it right, you understand the concepts, do it in there. And then remember, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, if you're not in the classroom, scan that QR code. It's free. There's tons of resources in here. And then as you guys have seen this thing, giving you different ideas. For those of you, on Sunday, we're going to be starting the Breaking the Habit of Breaking Your Plan 6-week program. So we're going to be focused on implementing these things, allowing that to be part of your process. So scan that if you want to learn more as well. Either you just get the book yourself, work on it on your own, or if you want to do it together, shoot me a message. We are opening up spots for that. That will start on Sunday. But as always, guys, it's been a pleasure to be here with you throughout this entire process. And let's see. Potential shakeouts before sells for indices based on where price is at now, overall waiting for longs. Does that make sense? Yeah. Can you still enroll? For sure. For sure. Shoot me a message or shoot Nancy a message, and then we can get that set up. We start on Sunday. So week 1 will be on Sunday if you don't have it already. And then, guys, Black Friday sales are going to be epic across all of Tradetopia stuff. So we're stoked. We're stoked for what we have ready. As you guys have seen, if you guys haven't checked out the store, we've been adding tons and tons and tons of different types of merch, hoodies, tees, sick ass sweatpants, track pants. They look dope. So yeah, you guys can check those out. We got a lot going on, and yeah, Nancy's been working pretty hard behind the scenes to get everything looking nice and smooth. But yeah, so stay on the lookout and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. There's a lot potential. So there's a lot just kind of we're sitting on, we're waiting on. The market's squeezing now. So I do think we're going to get a bit more explosiveness here within the next 15 minutes or so. So be ready. Be ready to strike. But remember, only execute what you're supposed to do. This won't be your final trade. This doesn't have to be the one that changes everything. This is just another trade. It's just another brick that you're laying to build your trading foundation. That's it. So appreciate you guys, and I'll see you all later today. Syndicate, we'll see you later on our session today at 8 p.m. And then everyone else, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, y'all.